what you did was incredible. I mean, this is such an incredible tale as well. It must be so surreal seeing this story and your story being told on the big screen and being released as a movie.
It is very like exciting, like to me, to see the my story being told, being on like a big screen, because when I was doing my work growing up, I didn't imagine that one day my story would reach like the way it has like reached. But I'm very excited that has happened, because when I was writing the book, I wanted to share my story with the rest of the world, and the movie is just gonna do that. Like, it's gonna pick it up where the book left. The people didn't have a chance to read my book, they're gonna be able to learn my story through the movie. So I'm excited.
I'm just going to begin just by asking about Chiwetel, because obviously in Britain he's known as one of, and I'm sure around the world he's known as one of the great kind of actors. But what's he like sort of behind the lens as a director? What sort of director is he?
Oh, he's a wonderful storyteller. Chiwetel is an amazing actor, so I knew that. I was very curious and very enthusiastic to read the script and to be on set with him. And being on set in Malawi with Chiwetel was amazing because he was so precise, he was so enthusiastic, and he was very open to know what our choices as actors on set would be in every scene. So we had a lot of freedom, and in the same time, because he knew what he wanted, we were driven in a very interesting way.
Yeah, because I was wondering about the balancing act, Chiwetel, I mean, it's an uplifting tale with a lot of hope to it, but at the same time, it's dealing with, sort of global warming and obviously poverty and education, how the two are linked together. I mean, was it quite difficult to maintain that sense of hope in a movie that is actually dealing with quite serious themes?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a balance to strike. But between, what I came away from the book with was a sense of inspiration and a sense of hopefulness about people who are able to live in the solution, and how that is a very optimistic narrative to sort of take away. And so trying to tell a story visually that balances that, but what I think one has on one side, if you like, is this extraordinary rich cultural history and beauty of Malawi. So when you're playing these ideas against the backdrop of this, you can visually sort of represent things in a way that still feels optimistic, and then in the center of it you have this remarkable story sort of pushing through. So it's able to sort of balance the more challenging parts of the narrative and the story, I think.
Maxwell, I mean, obviously, you're the lead role in a huge movie you're playing at the Berlin Film Festival. I mean, has it really sort of sunk in? Yeah, have you got used to the fact that your face is on posters and stuff like that? And also, what do all of your friends make of this? They must be pretty jealous and excited for you.
Okay, well, I have great friends, so so they're really excited about everything that's happening. They're really supportive of the movie's publicity and getting it outside there, really. Because when my friends heard about the film for the first time, they had to go out of their own ways and get copies of the book and get to read the book in order to identify with it. So I have really great friends who are really there for me when I need them.
You've got better friends than me. Mine would just be really jealous and speak to me, I think, or they'd ask me for money. I think young Maxwell's brilliant as well in the film. Did you speak to him much and want to give him much sort of advice on playing a younger version of yourself?
No, I actually didn't speak to him, but I'm very impressed to the work that he did. He's very a talented young man.
It's an incredible story as well, isn't this? And I'm just wondering about it. Got me thinking about the amount of kind of young and gifted sort of kids around the world that have just not been spotted yet. I mean, is that one of the things that really struck you? Was it just feels like there's not. I mean, William has got an incredible mind, but there's Williams everywhere, aren't there?
There are Williams everywhere, and the film shows that once you give opportunities to people to get an education, some individuals can be geniuses and can make the difference.
Marking your directorial debut and sort of making the movie in Africa. I was wondering, because I interviewed Dev Patel once, and he was telling me that he feels much closer to his own roots and to his kind of background and stuff as a result of cinema, because obviously he grew up, I think, in North London, but he spent so much time embodying characters and in India and going to India to make movies. And I was wondering if through cinema, if you feel a sort of closeness to your own sort of background and your roots, because I mean, I think the Half of a Yellow Sun kind of springs to mind in that regard. And I'm just wondering if, you feel that sort of more closeness through cinema and through your career.
I mean, I haven't necessarily in that way, but I've definitely enjoyed the experience of being able to make films in Nigeria, in Ghana, South Africa, and traveling through, and in this experience, Malawi, but also working very closely in Kenya, Nairobi, which is where we had a lot of sort of the on-the-ground logistics when we were figuring it out in Nairobi. So that expression of being in the art form and then using that in a way of sort of really working in and exploring in different African countries has been a remarkable privilege of my working life. So in that regard, I feel very kind of grateful that was part of what I've been able to do.
I'm just wondering too, if the real William was helped. Did you, because obviously he's obviously just next door at the moment, but what's it like kind of meeting the person you're playing, and also did you speak to him and ask any advice sort of during the making of the movie at all?
I chose not to ask him of any advice. I chose instead to observe him and see how really he is as a person, because if I asked him, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. So I decided to base my acting on the book and from observing him. And I learned a lot of things just from those two. And I'm hoping really that I played it as he did it a couple of years ago.
And do you think you share any sort of similar personality traits to William and the character that you played? Was there any sort of things that you felt, was quite similar to you in any way?
We share a lot of things with William, but what stands out really is the curiosity levels, really. Both of us are curious to some level. There's a phrase that they say, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back to life. So I'm really curious about things and how everything plays out in the electrical and engineering fields. And we're both hands-on guys. Yeah.
Just my sort of final question, really. I mean, obviously, The Lion King is not too far away. I was just wondering, because I watched the Disney the original sort of recently, and it struck me how much Jeremy Irons really hams it up. There's something almost quite camp about Sky. So it's an incredible vocal performance. I was wondering what your interpretation of the character might be, and if it's going to have that same very, very overly sort of theatrical approach to it.
We're going to find out.
It's worth a go, wasn't it?
It's lovely, though. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for your time. Much appreciated.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Because I was wondering, I mean, obviously, there's a very uplifting movie with a lot of hope to it, but at the same time, it's actually studying kind of climate change as well, isn't it? And it's looking at the damage we're doing to the planet that we live in. How important do you think it is that movies like this are being made, even though it's not like the foremost theme, it's still a very contributing factor in this tale?
Cinema is a wonderful way of talking about big issues like global warming and climate change, and doing it as Chiwetel did it, in a very intimate and precise and very moving and very human level, is a way to give the audience an opportunity to think of how we can make a change as individuals and as citizens.
My last question is just about Netflix and how you must be sort of thrilled that it's being shown on that platform, because I think that obviously, it's great to be able to see it in the cinema as you obviously will be doing so in Berlin, but it's so accessible, isn't it, on Netflix? And you feel like stories like this should reach the whole world, and through Netflix it will be. Yeah,
I really believe Netflix is the right channel, because with the impact and with the number of subscribers and how far they can reach even with more subscribers, I believe it's the right channel for people to see the film, because really it has a greater impact and provides a larger platform for more people to get and see the movie, and that's exactly what everyone really needs to see.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much for your time. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!